What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Scyushi, and this is my setup tour. Yes. Those of you that have seen my last video will notice just how clean everything is. Ignore the drinks and stuff. I'm just gonna get some other work done today, but oh, it's finally done, dude. It's been a long process. So for those of you that don't know, let me just boop, there you go. I've slowly built up my setup over many years. This isn't something that you get all at once. And on top of that, this is all very much stuff that I like as not only a content creator, but just as a person, just with lots and lots of experience under my belt. So my mic is probably one of the most important things, which is the Shure SM7B. As I've stated in every single one of these videos, because I've had this mic for years and years, this is pretty much the best commentary mic that you can get. There's no reason to get anything better than this. This is kind of peak YouTube as far as I'm concerned, because you've seen plenty of other content creators. Jacksepticeye is one of them that I always make fun of, because he's got a microphone that's like $5,000 or $10,000 or something, which his mic is designed to record an entire room of like live music. This is specifically for commentary. I'm not trying to call Jacksepticeye out or anything. I'm just saying him, like, he's kind of the worst culprit, because a lot of YouTubers that have a lot of money don't know anything about mics. And because of my musician's background before I started doing YouTube, I kind of have a bit of experience with this sort of thing. To complement the mic, we now have the Wave XLR. So just as a comparison, guys, this was my old setup. I needed to have this big preamp box to make me sound the way that I wanted to sound. And then that's the Scarlett Solo, which I had to use. It's basically an XLR to USB connector. In short, it's so that the mic could go to my computer. But now I actually just have this connecting right into the Wave XLR, which is an Elgato device. And this thing is amazing. I absolutely love it. It's very straightforward. I can change a bunch of settings. I can mute it and unmute it. But most importantly, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, it comes with the Wavelink software, which you can already see my mic going up and down with it. This thing is amazing just because it allows me to fine tune all audio levels that I want. So speaking of, right next to it is the Elgato Stream Deck. You can kind of tell that I do like Elgato. Elgato is one of those brands that I think they're putting out a lot of specialty items that streamers like that's kind of their main market, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best quality. I've had my fair share of problems with Elgato software, as we'll talk about when we get to you son of a... But I do also use their green screen, which, let me just give us a wide angle so I can show you guys. I love this thing just because it's super easy to set up. But I do have a video from years and years ago where I talk about a $20 green screen that I made just with like cardboard and green paper, and that actually was a better green screen in terms of the keying. It's just, I like this because then I get to have my background. So speaking of background keying, lighting is going to be something that's really important for that. I have just some garbage light. It's nothing special. The only thing that I would say is super important is that I have it's a very low luminescence, and it's a warm glow light, so it's not hurting my eyes or anything like that. And then otherwise I use the Elgato key light, which if I turn this sucker on for you guys, oh good, look at that. Look, you can see a live reaction. It's not connected to my Wi-Fi. This is a piece of crap. I absolutely hate this thing. Elgato should be ashamed. It's so expensive, and this garbage needs to be connected to Wi-Fi. And it disconnects constantly, so I constantly have to reset it. It's the worst hardware I've ever purchased. So why do I use it? Well, beggars can't be choosers, and it allows me to adjust the luminescence on the fly. Not that I necessarily need that. Frankly speaking, I'd be better off, instead of buying this expensive piece of garbage, to just get another one of these for like 20 bucks. Now you'll also notice on the wall, we've got some soundproofing. It's really difficult to soundproof this room, or more particularly stop the reverb. It's an impossibility. The white paper is literally just so that the light doesn't have to be shining on me. Instead, it shoots onto the wall, which has the paper, which is a reflective surface, which makes the light bounce onto me without me having to go blind. So then we've also got my camera, which is the A7R is the Sony camera. It's a really good camera. The focal lens was probably the most expensive part of it. The reason why I have this paper is because this camera, like, I have it set up so that it plugs HDMI into my computer, right? But the problem is when it's using HDMI, the back screen doesn't automatically shut off. So what I do is I put this paper over top of it, and that tricks the camera into thinking someone is looking through the looking lens, and then that turns off the screen. So I'm not gonna get into all the little details about everything, but I just wanna mention stuff like this is a little more complicated than you would think. It's not as easy as plug in and go, because of course I have to have a Sony brand thing that plugs into the battery slot so that the camera can run 24/7. There's just a lot of little things like that that just kind of permeate all of my hardware that I don't want to get into because it's boring. My speakers are right down there, just underneath my monitor. Those are just crappy Walmart speakers because I don't care about sound system. I got a Samsung curved monitor. I loved curved monitors. They're just so nice. And then I've got my other monitor right here, which is just some crappy one that I bought from Best Buy, and I use it for a vertical monitor, which you'd be surprised how bad vertical monitors are with Windows. Like Windows itself has a lot of issues with it. And then I've got, you know, the dual monitor arm, and more recently I lowered the hell out of this monitor because normally it was like really high up. I'm hoping that it ends up helping my neck in the long run, because ideally you're supposed to have the top of your monitor at eye level, so that's why it's kind of crushing my speakers. Mouse pad, I don't know what it is, but a buddy of mine bought it for me years ago and I haven't looked back. It's a hard mouse pad, so that's why I really like it. And then I always use the Logitech G, what is that, 602? It's an ergonomic gaming mouse. Ergonomics is like super important to me. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, my body is really picky. And generally speaking, because I'm spending hours and hours on end with editing and stuff like that, my hands would always cramp up with normal mouse. So that's why I have to get this one. Unfortunately, it's discontinued, which means that I have a backup right now in my closet that I'm getting ready to use, because this mouse kind of sucks because it's Logitech, so it dies really quickly. Like the middle mouse click is starting to not work, and same with the left mouse button. So that's fun. Generic Razer keyboard because I just needed a keyboard. I don't care about keyboard. I don't even care about glowing, but it is very nice just because I usually game in the dark. And then my headphones, which I have hanging here on my dual drink holder, which these are like just Sony headphones. They're fairly expensive, but the main reason I like them is they cup over your ear. So because of all my piercings on my ears, like, I don't know, I can't use like normal headphones that press up against my ear. It just always hurts me. For consoles, all I have right now is my PS5 and my Nintendo Switch. In the future, I'll get the new Nintendo console, but when they release the PS6, I'll probably skip over that. You can see my wire situation is a little bit weird because I actually have some wires come out here to our TV. And the reason why I have that is because the power situation in this place, basically I had too many wires in my one room and it was causing the breaker to brown out constantly. So this way some of the power capacity is taken up in the living space. And then it might look like a mess at my computer, but everywhere else, oh my God, this took so long to sort my wire situation. Here, let's get my fancy standing desk. Yeah, wire situation really nice. I've got a backup generator. This is all of my backup hard drives, which are slowly filling up, but generally speaking, I still have quite a bit of space. For my computer, I have just generic black box. The only thing that I would say that I did do it yourself was on the front here, there was normally a cover. I sawed this out because I need to be able to hold this part when I press my power button, because for whatever reason, the wires inside here are starting to disconnect. So it still works. It's just kind of tedious that I gotta open that door and hold it in such a way every time. And I don't want a binary computer case. My computer specs are, I have a 4070 Ti as my graphics card, NVIDIA of course, and then an Intel i9-9960 for my CPU, and 62 or 64 gigabytes RAM. I'm not gonna end up going through all of my like specific settings with my software, but I do use OBS for all of my recording and streaming. I use Adobe Premiere Pro for all of my editing, and I kind of already showed what I did for my thumbnails in another video. But my wallpaper I really like because I use Wallpaper Engine. It's actually a live animated wallpaper, and when I'm recording I have it so that it automatically turns off, but it allows me to kind of swap the wallpaper anytime I want. Usually I love this one though because it's the Wind Waker Island, and it might not look like it, but the clouds are actually animating and it reflects the real life time. So when it's dark out, it's dark there. So now let's move from the computer to the more boring stuff. This is a floor pad, which I would recommend this if you've got either like uneven floors or just floors where your wheeled chair is kind of messing up. I technically don't need this anymore, but obviously it keeps my wheels quieter. My chair itself, this is extremely expensive. It's a Herman Miller chair, which I've been using this thing for like probably 10 plus years. I would recommend if you're doing anything computer related to get an ergonomic chair, because my God, it helps. The only problem is the headpiece is actually a separate, like I had to order that separately, and it's actually not the same brand, which is why it looks so ugly. And I don't like it. It messes up a lot and I have to constantly readjust it. Clearly it's not Herman Miller brand. As for the stuff that's right behind me, I got some disc plates, which I got in our video reviewing disc plates. They're kind of hit or miss, just some stuff that you gotta be careful about. But yeah, obviously, you know, Dark Souls, huge influence. This one I just really liked because it's got a lot of nice detail. And then this one's one of Iron Pineapple's disc plates. And then we've got, you know, katana, other little figurines and stuff. And then I won't go through all of these, but I have this all like super organized where it's like, oh, my controllers, the next one under would be like, you know, wiring, and the bottom one is like VR. And then as for the shelves themselves, it's just kind of old stuff like the Skyrim Collector Edition, a PewDiePie figurine, a B00 figurine, which doesn't stand properly, which is why I just kept it in the box, which kind of sucks. An old Megazord, which apparently that thing is extremely valuable when I looked it up. Some old Spawn figures and stuff. I've actually got a lot more like figurines that I could put up, but frankly speaking, it just started looking way too busy by having all of them. I guess I'm a little more minimalist than I expected. And then also, you know, we can see the Evangelion figure, which I have an era video highlighting that. The only thing that I don't like about this thing is the standing pad or whatever, like being clear, is just kind of, I wish it was black or colored or themed or something. Oh, and then yeah, I guess my old keyboard, which is just a Yamaha keyboard. I've had this thing for many, many years. We got a new dog bed. Well, it's new for us. You guys won't know or care, but we got this from Costco. It was pretty cheap, and most of all, it's really, really big, so both of the dogs can actually sit here, because otherwise for years and years and years we had 2 dog beds. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously there's a couple other things like finer details that I could get into, but as far as my gear is concerned, the rest of it's just kind of boring stuff that's in storage. And as far as my setup in terms of like, oh, what are my OBS settings and all that stuff, that's nerd shit, you know, and it doesn't really belong in a video like this. If it's something that you guys request enough, I could end up having a video highlighting it. If you do want to end up getting into YouTube and stuff, don't just see all of this and try to buy it all and copy it. I've seen so many spoiled rich kids like try to come right out of the gate with the best equipment on YouTube, and it always looks really weird because their own like commentary and experience with the platform are just at zero. So it can actually make you look bad by having like more professional equipment. That said, I got all of this stuff over like a decade, very, very slowly, just buying bits and pieces here and there. And on top of that, a lot of technology has changed, which is why I can change my mic setup. I can get rid of my preamp and use the Wave XLR Elgato because it didn't exist a couple years ago. With all of that said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I would appreciate if you would like, subscribe for more, and if you want to see more of my videos, YouTube thinks this is a good option, or you could check out my most recent upload right here. Just another thank you to all of you for watching. I appreciate you, and I love you guys.